Hi, John here from Survival Stoves. Got a good project to be getting on with today. It's one I'm in the middle of already building at the moment, but I thought why not invite you to watch the stove being built. It's literally a stove with an oven built into it. It's going to be for my workshop. Right, so we have our front piece here. So it's already been drawn out. We just cut the front piece out. There's going to be our wood burning part there. This is going to be the part where we are going to be able to fit our dial to be able to turn the stove up and down for the heat. But our oven part over here. So we're going to be having an ash pan inside this part as well. We've got the back of the stove here. And then what I normally do is I tend to label them as I'm going on. So this is our sides to the burner. So we're going to cut all them bits out. They're identically the same size. And then we've got our top piece there, which is 5mm steel, 4mm steel. Believe me when I say this, cutting that 5mm steel out with grinding discs takes a heck of a lot of time, but I enjoy the process of doing it. So let's get on with it. These parts now are the sides. I normally cut them out, which these are the easiest parts to do. Now it's 350mm deep, the stove is, or 35cm. Only reason I've made it that particular size is I love pizza. 12-inch pizzas is about the normal ones that you really get. So I'm going to make it that size. And not only that, it's perfect for getting tins and stuff like that. And if you make them too small, it's hard to get things inside, or it's hard to get things to fit. Let's get this cut out and then let's get it all tacked up together. Okay, we have two sides cut out ready, identically literally the same size, and same with the back and the front, identically the same size again. Right, it's all tacked up, all put in box shape. Everything seems to be square and lined up just how I wanted it to be. So now we're going to turn the burner over and we're going to get the floor of the actual burner now put in. I'll be using 3mm steel for the flooring. Floor's put in for the stove. So our next thing to do now is our separation plate. So we're going to put that separation plate in, work out where exactly the chamber is going to be going, and then cut the roof to size and stuff. I'm probably going to cut the roof to size in a second anyway. Right, I've cut both plates out now, and now my next thing to do is to cut where I want the hole to be for the chamber to go through. We have the plate installed now, as you can see, two plates, and that piece is cut out there, so that again, so there'll be a channel going from here now to this part straight over to the other end, and then in the center part, so probably around by here somewhere, there'll be a 4-inch pipe coming out of the top part, but there'll be a channel going straight the way across, which I'll have to make, and then I can weld it to the actual wall here. So I only have to use one piece there and then one piece for the bottom. And now my next job is going to be all the lines stuff that she just marked that one out as well, is going to be to put the parts I need in now so that I can have the burner part, the stuff for the firewood to sit on. But it's coming on now, to be fair, and it's not a bad size, I'll tell you that. So there now we've got all the bits welded in ready so that we can put the grated bit in. Once I've put that part in, then I'm going to start concentrating on prepping and cutting the roof ready, and also cutting the funnel ready so I can get some heat in there. So I'll go ahead and cut all them out. I would video at the moment. I can't video myself cutting because I haven't got a stand. I'm currently waiting for everything to be delivered. My next video is better detail because I'll be having all the right equipment to be able to do it. I'm going to invest some money into it better in my YouTube channel, because obviously it's my pleasure doing what I'm doing at the moment. Right, she stands up well now. Got it already on the griddle part. As you can tell, it's starting to come on. I'm not going to be doing any more tonight now. It's getting kind of late. Right, another day, another start. What we're going to do today, we're going to cut the plate out, tack it in place first. So luckily my camera stands come today. and I'm going to be able to use that. So it means that you're going to get to see me cutting out for the first time. Not only that, you'll get to see me plasma cut the hole out as well. But what I want to do before I go cutting things out with the plasma cutter, I want to cut all this out first, put it on. Once it's fitted onto the actual burner, I can then work out where everything needs to be. So let's get cracking. One was a bit cut out. When these come, they're guillotine cut, so they do still have sharp edges on them. Right, top's all prepped. Right, so what I try and do with the stove is I do my damnedest to leave a gap around here, so that way you get the best penetration out of your welds. Because I'm welding 5 to 4, I mean, to be fair, there isn't that much difference in the heat when you're welding these. So now what I've got to do is take into account that the extra 50mm either end. So the easiest way for me to do that is know that I've got 25 here and then I've got 50 on here. Extra either way. So what we will do is, right, so we want it round about the, no, it's absolutely bang on 80mm. Talent, see. Right, so the back of the burner is there, so that's where it'll come up to. The pipe's 20mm outside of that, so if you look, I've gone round dotting, so dotting where I want the pipe to land. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark all the way around this now, so I know where to cut that out, but I'll cut it out with a plasma cutter because I can be more accurate. Right, next plates now are going to be 450 by 150, and we're going to be having another one which is going to be 450 by 75mm. So I'll cut them out now. It shouldn't take me long to cut these out because it's only 3mm. Right, plates grinded, nice and clean, because these are the parts that are going to be basically in the oven. Chamber itself is now welded up, so a lot of it now is putting the plate on top. So once I put it on, I've then got to go around everywhere measuring what sort of size we've got all the way around, and then whether or not that 4-inch plate fits like it's supposed to. So if you look, it's got a nice bit of overhang on it to give it that bit of a authentic look. So it looks like a proper stove. So I've got to cut a 4-inch hole in there now, which I'll do with a plasma cutter in a sec. And then the next thing after that to do is get all the doors and everything ready, and then I've got to put a plate inside there. But if you look at the back, I've literally left a gap so that I can get plenty of weld penetration. I still got all the outside and everything to weld yet. If I leave it till last, it makes my life easier because I can always cut the welds out, you know, the tacks out, and do what I need to do to change it. Let's get that hole cut out, and then after I've done that, we can look at putting that little bit of a plate in there. I can make the door ready. Once I've made the door, I'm not welding the doors on until I've sort of put everything ready. Right, I changed my mind on what size the hole is going to be. I'm doing a 5-inch hole now instead, because 4-inch just isn't going to be enough. I've worked it out anyway, and it literally is, it's not going to. Cut out now, so cut out ready. Right, the hinges that I bought, I've got a tiny little bit of play in them, so they wobble, and I can't have any movement in the door whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is, I've got the old ones hinges that I use, which you don't. I'll put one in the middle of them, and then I can put the other two top and bottom. It's more, them hinges are more for luck as opposed to use. Oven door is quite a size. To be honest with you, I wanted it to open from the top, so I suppose like a real oven. But the only issue with doing it that way is to get it so it'll actually shut properly. I just don't think it's going to work the way I think it's going to work. So I think I'm going to have to do it the way I normally do it, and the same way the door open. But we can make the best of what we got. I'd love to do it the other way, but it's more hassle than it's worth. Yes, it would be more like a real oven, but well, I suppose no, because a lot of ovens do open the same way as the door is going to open. Our last oven did that, but I'm looking forward to more to getting the glass in more than anything else. But again, for me to have the glass in, the hinges have got to be done right. But that's another thing that comes today as well, which is the thermometer so that's going to be for the oven door, and it'll look really, really nice when it's done properly. So it's easy to do. It's a thread fixing. I fitted one on the old man's, so I know they work quite well. But obviously it's a big oven to heat, this one is, so that's the reason I've had to make the actual burner itself bigger. But when it's all been done, yeah, it will look the part. I'm really looking forward to what this is going to produce. The heat, I think it's going to produce quite a lot of heat, but
like I say, not too much I'm hoping, because again I can always put another plate in to stop too much heat going into the oven, because that's a lot of it. What it's about is I don't want to burn the food. I want to cook the food as opposed to either not cook it or cook it too fast, and that's always going to be the trick with getting this right.
Done a lot of the welds on the inside and started doing ones on the outside, so plenty of penetration in there.
My next job to do now, I'm going to finish welding the rest of the stove up.
Right, I've run out of gas for my MIG welder, so I'm going to have to do cutting out for tonight. So I've done the measurements for the doors now, doing the doors at 5mm. So we've got, for the fire doors, 240mm by 270mm, and then for the oven part it's 390mm by 370mm. What I'm going to do now is, inside here, I'll roughly work out where 15mm is. 15mm is there, and then how much room have we got after that. So what I can do is I'll mark it out. I have to do this with one hand, to be fair. 50mm there. So now what I need to do, so let's just say shelves there. So I need to work, so what's this? This is 150mm. So I'll do the next 150mm shelf, and there's enough room there. Let's go up there. There's enough room in there to get a pizza or something like that. And then worst case scenario, what I can do is I can weld another place for another shelf just below, so then you can always take that out and put it in the one below. Okay, I tried fitting the hinges yesterday, which were these hinges. They look cheap and tacky, a lot cheaper and tackier than I thought they were going to, so I'm not using these. We have, that's for the inside of the oven, what's it look like. Right, I've just finished doing the oven door now, so I've cut it so that I'm going to be able to get the glass in the door. And if you look, I've marked it out on the other door, so I'm going to be doing the same with that one. I have only not cut that out because I want to test the burner. So everything's working as it's supposed to be on it. To be fair, it could not have gone better. I'm very happy with the way this one went. So tomorrow, as soon as I get home from work, it's going to be testing it out and see what it's like. I'm ordering the glass, both of them for tonight. I'm going to order them both and then get it, so I know what the sizes are going to be as well, because I've written them down. And then fingers crossed, as soon as it's all put up, it gives me time now to edit this video and get everything like I want it. So yeah, but as you can see, it is absolutely perfect, to be fair. It really is. And bear in mind as well, this is going to be sprayed nice black, so I've got an absolutely gorgeous black. So I've got to grind all this back to bare metal first. But to be honest, I'll probably wait until I've actually tested it out and see what it's going like. I've got all the pipe ready to install it in here. I've got the steel to go through the wall, and I'm making it up as I go along. Right, back onto the stove. Luckily, I've just, in the post, probably 20 minutes, half an hour ago, we've just had my M6 bolts and stuff like that. So the M6 bolts have arrived now. I've just tacked on the nuts ready. So what I'm going to do is, in a minute, I'm going to rest the glass, because whenever you put glass down, always put the roping down first, so it's got something to sit on. It's easy enough. When you are putting the glass in, all you need to do is just make sure they're all rough and equally the same sort of distance away from each other. Work out roughly where it's even. Go there. There we are. Alright. Now, what I normally do is, when it comes to fitting the glass on, so I'll get, you can see, these things here, like fly clips there, and put your bolt through, put it onto the glass, and then you're bolting this end down, and this clip just clamps the glass. It can't get much easier than that. Right, as you can tell, I've managed to put all the glass and everything like that in. So this is what on the oven door. They're not over tight. You'll know when you've tightened the glass up enough. Always got to try and remember when you put that back on, it's better to under tighten than over tighten. And when you put that back in, the thing you need to be sort of listening out for is if it's vibrating, it means you haven't tightened it enough. If you'll know when you're over tightening it, it'll feel like as if, right, I shouldn't go any tighter sort of thing. Because remember, it's brittle. You know, the glass still can shatter even though it is heat resistant. So best thing to do is just be ever so careful with how you do it. I try to just make sure that I double check what I'm doing before I do it. But like, that's my interpretation of the way to put the glass in, you know. Right, so let's put it back on. Let's see what she looks like. Always fears me every time I do this because I always think, well, that one time I'm going to go and put the door on and the glass is I'm going to forget that I haven't tightened it up and the glass is going to fall straight out the door. Put this on as well. And then we can see how pretty and beautiful she is. Oh my word. I'm not even kidding, that's out of this world. You know, when I got all the lights and everything on, it's going to look spectacular. I think when you are doing these stoves, there's definitely something that gives you that buzz to want to make that next one that's that little bit better each time. Like with me, I always strive for the perfect stove, and I always chase it. I'd say very sad me saying things like that, but it's true. You know, I personally love it when you normally get about halfway through. I'm not going to over tighten that too much because it's going to be. I've got to paint spray the door and everything up yet. Look at that. Look at that. Honestly, have you ever seen such beauty in your life? I'm sorry, I know this might sound big-headed or whatever, but you think, when all this is grinded back to bare metal, so all the door, you know, all the marks on the door and everything's cleaned up, it's all back to sparkly, shiny, whereas I've grinded like down to basically bare, complete, total bare metal. And then once that's all done, and same with the top, so the top's all ground back to bare metal as well, it's going to look out of this world. Really is. And I'm very, very much excited. So tomorrow we'll be fitting this one when the glass comes, and then glass tightened in tomorrow and then sprayed up. If I need for the glass to come before I spray it up, because I need to know exactly where, like I've done with this one. You know, what I've done with this one, where I put all these in, obviously that's to the size of the glass. So before I go putting it in and then getting it like out a little bit, I need to make sure that when I've put all these, that's another thing I need to do is put the rope in the door as well. So I'm going to weld over this in a second. That's one of the bits to hold the latch on. So we'll weld that up in a second and then grind it all up flat. Right, we are putting tape around the door. Well, it's not around the door, around where basically, so it's the glass isn't pressing against steel. Easy enough to do, but I tend to normally go over a little bit because when it's getting squashed down, you don't want to try and make it so that it's showing. Again, I guess everyone's got their own sort of way of doing this. Me, the first time I ever done this, I'm not going to lie, I pulled my hair out with it. It was a nightmare the first time I ever done it, because again, it's the getting used to things, I suppose. But yeah, no, yeah, it doesn't bother me also that much. But like anything, I suppose you're going to get your niggly stoves where they're now a bit fiddly when the smaller you get. This stove isn't too small, so it's not. If you'd seen one of the, the one I'm going to be doing next stove is luckily, because I've been waiting for some certain steel to come up for a while, because I don't want to buy a full length of it, because when I say the word it's not cheap, it really is not cheap, and you know, I've got to justify paying the kind of money that it's going to be to get hold of this stuff. But I've been lucky, because up to now Facebook Marketplace is where I'm going to be getting it from. So I'm hopefully, if the
guy still got it. I'm going to be picking it up on Saturday because I don't get time through the week, which is a shame really, because to be honest with you, I would have quite happily picked it up, but it's that word, isn't it? I think with a lot of people these days is that word time. I never get enough of it, so yeah. But I know one thing for sure, the next stove I make, it's going to be out of this world, it really is, and I'm so excited to actually finally be able to get around to doing one of these stoves. And like I say, the stuff hasn't come up for such a long time to be able to get hold of the actual steel to make one. But again, it's when it comes up, because if you had to buy it brand new, you're talking £500 a length. Maybe even, I think it's either about £500-600. Yeah, it might have gone up now because of the cost of living, but we'll have to see whether or not, because I suppose when I make it, and you know, you let me know in the comments what you think each time I do them. The next one, the door isn't going to be like what this one is now. I'm changing how I do these, you know, the seals. The seal will stay the same as with the glass that holds the door in, because it is easier doing it there when the actual rope itself sticks to the door, because it's a nightmare when you've got to try and move it all around. So how it'll be the next time is, no, I'll make it and then you can see yourself. But I assure you 100%, the way that I'm going to be doing it next time, it's a lot more practical doing it the way I'm going to be doing it. It's a lot easier as well. I can't fit the nuts and bolts in yet because I haven't got the glass. I've got to sort of have, yeah, but I'm excited to do the door the way that it's going to be next time. It's going to just make my life a lot easier, and I've never thought of doing it the way. And actually, through a guy on Facebook gave me the idea. The glass will always be done the same way in my eyes, because well, from now on they will be done with this curve in, because I just think it just looks so much better. And the door will be done differently. It's going to be a bit trickier, I'm not going to lie, it is going to be trickier to do, but it means that I can get more thicker hinges and stuff like that to do them. So, and I think chunkiness with a stove like this is 5mm, and it looks good at 5mm. You know, it's got good like sort of thickness to it and stuff. So like for me personally, I'm all about having the chunkier stove, because I know that these doors, you know, they'll last so long. They're not like the 3mm stuff or the, well, if you're having one of them Chinese stores, they've made out more like bloody paper thin steel, whereas these, they literally are built to last. Because a lot of, like, say the older generation of stoves, the ones that were not the cast ones, I mean, like say the couple of years, probably about 2 decades ago, when they made the mild steel stoves, they have outlasted any cast ones that I know of. You know, I might be different, I might be wrong, but every steel stove that I know of, I got a cast iron one, which we had when we first came to the house, because it was already installed. And the cast iron one, honestly, I've had to re-weld it twice, and we've had one new top, because I don't like being too hot too fast. So it's very temperamental. So with this like sort of mild steel ones, you get what you pay for with them. You know, you get the warranty. You don't have to have a warranty with them, because you know they'll last you probably 20-30 years in these things. And I would probably say this, my dad's got one now, right? The old man's got one in his dining room, which is probably one of the best stoves I've ever seen. It's made of mild steel, and it's I think he's had it there now for around 20 something years. Now, if you bear in mind, take the ash out of it, hoovered it all out and give it a bit of a clean up, to be honest with you, it's no different than what it was when it came out of the factory. He's never had to have it welded, he's never had to have any repairs done to it. You know, and that's sort of why I always aimed for the mild steel versions, because I just see them as being the better quality stove. But let's get down to a bit general experience, I suppose. But we'll crack on with the glass tomorrow and see what we can make. Both glasses in the door now, so it's all fitted exactly how I need it to be. My next job, which is a big job now, I'm going to have to rip the glasses out. Then I'm going to take off the temperature gauge, And then what we're doing then is, which I'll fast forward it for this part, we're going to be grinding the whole burner from start to finish back to bare metal. I'm not going to record it all because it will bore the death out of you. And then on the inside, which I'll show you now, let's see, I've got me the other day in there. The same with that, just basically grind all that back to bare metal, and then from there then that'll give me a rough idea on what more I need to do. But everything inside that burner and the oven needs to be ground completely and totally back to bare metal. Let's get going with this one because it's going to be a long one. What I'm going to do is, I've just decided now, I'm going to grind all this back. I don't expect you to watch all this, it's going to take forever. So what I'm going to do is I'll fast forward to the bits I do to the end, and then it just saves you having to watch all this. So right, just going to leave it overnight now. I've already put the doors back on to hold the weight of them so I could spray them, but I've sanded the whole thing back to bare metal. So I've gone over it all, every single bit of it, put it in the ash pan. Every single bit of this now has been back to bare metal. But here, look, unfortunately it's done that because it's so cold out here, to be fair. This paint seems to, I don't know why, but only when it seems to be really, really cold it does thing. And I haven't, to be honest with you, the coat is that thin on this. It's not like I've held it on too much. You know, I'd be the first to own up if it was down to myself of holding it on too long. I'm the first to admit that, but I have not really put that thick of a coat on it for it to do that. It's done it in some other places, like even on here, if you look, it's done the same thing there. Started to run. I don't know why it just sort of sits on top. But yeah, it's one of them. It's not the end of the world. I can just sand it back a little bit when it's all nice and dry. But I'm going to wait now for probably around 20 hours maybe. Let it dry out. Once it's dried out, we can start putting it all back together.
put the ash pan back in, and then get her lit up and see what she performs like. I can't wait to get the stuff in there. I can't wait to cook. So until tomorrow now. Right, she's all finished. I'm going to take it outside in a minute and then light it. I can't install the wood burner into my workshop yet, as I'm waiting for the corrugated flue flashing. Once that comes, it can go in there then. But as you can see, for some reason, don't ask, it's run like that. But that's why I've had to change what paint I use, because the paint I was using before, which was the, I'd say mid quality, not high quality, is rubbish. I've had to buy some, which is this stuff now, and this is the high quality stuff, so I've had to go over it all. If I grinded all this back to bare metal now, you're talking like another four hours into it, and to be fair, it's going to be for me. At least I now know that that other paint is not the stuff to use. But yeah, this has come out absolutely beautiful, it really has. Yeah, we'll get it lit in a second and then show you what it's all about. Right, she's having a run. Definitely doing the job I wanted to do. So I'm really looking forward to getting this chucked in from the workshop. I really am looking forward to getting this installed into the workshop. You can join me on my next video. I've got a really good stove to make next time, which is going to be a smaller stove, which is going to be for sort of like camper vans, tents, glamping pods. So join me on my next one. If you can please like and subscribe to my channel, that'd be amazing. Thank you.